as more people start to get vaccinated, we are hoping to get into a different stage, am I right? But unfortunately, that doesn't mean everything is returning back to normal. You can expect a whole new etiquette to emerge. Our first guest this morning is here to give us an updated etiquette guide. Please help me welcome to the show Sharon Schweitzer. She is an etiquette and culture expert from Access to Culture. Welcome to the show, Sharon.
Thank you, Malik. Good morning to you and your viewers.
Yes, thank you so much for joining us this morning. I am so interested because, we are still in the middle of a pandemic, and I'm always asking many people who come on the show and just in my personal life, what's going to be the biggest changes because of COVID? I want to talk about etiquette this morning. What do you think is the most important rule to remember about etiquette and the pandemic?
Well, the customs have really evolved worldwide. There are so many different ways that this has changed things. In many countries, things are different. Here in the U.S., we have encouraged people to maintain 6 feet of distance, and different communities are addressing things different ways based on state and local customs and state and local regulations. So one of the things that we have to acknowledge is that people have different comfort levels. People have different ways that they're going to approach things based on their own personal health and their own personal comfort levels. So one of the things you want to do is, even if you disagree, respect other people. All right, be kind and make sure other people are comfortable. In a world where we can be anything, let's just be kind.
So true, and hopefully even before the pandemic, people were adopting this, but now that we're still in the middle of this pandemic, let's make sure people adopt this. I want to talk about some certain situations when it comes to etiquette. Let's talk about, if you feel uncomfortable in a situation, is it okay to speak up? If so, how do they do it politely?
Yeah, that is going to happen. If you maybe feel like you want to adhere to social distancing of 6 feet and someone you see comes up to you and maybe they step within 3 feet because they're really happy to see you, you may have to say something like, I'm so excited to see you. However, I am still adhering to social distancing, so don't be offended. I'm going to back up a few feet, but I still want to carry on this conversation with you. Or you may have to say something like, I really want to talk to you for a while. Maybe we can have a 20-minute conversation. Why don't we step outside into the fresh air so we can talk for a little longer? Or why don't we step over here by this open window? So don't assume anything when you're interacting with other people. The other thing we're going to have to realize is pre-COVID, we would hold other people's cell phones, we would hold their drinks. We can't assume that anymore. Many people are just going to say no, they're not going to hold our drinks or our cell phones or let us pet their dogs.
So true. Some great tips there. One of the biggest things that have come out of this pandemic is vaccinations. What is some vaccine etiquette rules that you can offer us? Like, for example, I got both my vaccines. Do I self-disclose that I am vaccinated before I try to hug somebody, even though I should be social distancing right now, or just when I'm going out in public in general?
That's a personal decision. Many people have decided that they do want to be vaccinated. Some people can't be because of a medical condition or a temporary illness. So whether you are vaccinated or not is kind of a personal decision. It's not all vaxxers versus anti-vaxxers. Sometimes you just can't be vaccinated. So if you see someone that you really want to hug, before you just jump in and hug them or give them an air kiss, what you want to do is you want to say to them, I want to respect your boundaries. So before, I notice you want to hug me, I want to hug you. Before we do any contact, I want to let you know that I'm doubly vaccinated or I'm fully vaccinated. And then wait and see what their response is. They maybe are so excited they haven't thought about whether they should disclose that or not, or whether it's even safe to do so. And they may stop themselves and say, well, let's just do an air hug, or maybe we should just do a virtual kiss and not have any physical contact. So
very interesting. And as far as like when you're having a party, I see right here you suggest that you do have the right to exclude anyone who refuses a vaccine. How do we politely say that? Do we call them? Do we maybe just send a text message? What's the best way to politely say, I understand that you may not be wanting to get the vaccine or wear a mask, but I'm requiring this for my dinner party? What's the nicest way to say that?
So if you're a private host and you want to require that, you have the right to do that. So many people will say, well, we're going to have this private party and we want to require that. However, we're going to have a virtual component. So if you can't be vaccinated or you don't want to be vaccinated, we're going to have a virtual component, and we still want to make sure that, you're able to participate, especially if it's a wedding or maybe a memorial service. So I encourage people to do that with kindness and let people know that you have a heart and you understand that maybe they can't be vaccinated, and you want them to still be able to participate. So
some great tips this morning, Sharon. Thank you so much for joining us. I could talk to you all day, but we gotta go, my friend. Thank you again for joining us. For more information about etiquette tips, head over to her website, SharonSchweitzer.com, or follow her on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Access to Culture. Stick with us. We'll be right back, everyone.
We were out